welcome back. My name's Dan. Episode 3 of the series. So we are going to be talking in this video about software instrument tracks and software instruments in general, how they can be used, how they can be applied, and just some little things you need to know when putting them into your tracks. Alright guys, so let's get into it. This is the drums we had in the last tutorial. Oh, hang about. Yeah, so basic audio loop, and if you remember we chopped out the end and we put an extra snare in just to demonstrate. So I've got that here. Now we're going to add some software instrument to this track essentially, and we're going to add some piano. So first of all, how do we get the software instrument in? We know how to add new tracks. We go to the plus here, or we go to track up here. I'm going to use the plus button. So you click the plus just right there, then it asks us what type of track we want. So we want a software instrument track because that's what we are discussing in today's video. So software instrument, and down in the details it's going to ask you what instrument you'd like. You can choose this now, you can choose it at a later date, it's up to you. We want the EXS24 sampler. Of course, I'll explain what a software instrument is for those that don't know. Basically, a software instrument is an instrument that exists within the computer or within the software, within Logic. What it is an instrument that we can play within the computer using either a MIDI keyboard or sort of an on-screen Logic keyboard, which I'll show you in a bit. But really, a software instrument is an instrument in the computer that we're able to play, you know, externally with the keyboard or any other such sort of MIDI instrument. But I don't want to confuse you too much with terms like MIDI instruments and things like that. Let's just talk about the MIDI keyboard. So I've got my MIDI keyboard here. It's plugged in via a USB lead into the computer, and I can use my MIDI keyboard to trigger sounds from the software instrument in Logic. Okay, so that's kind of how it's worded. Even simpler again, I guess you could just say a software instrument is an instrument from within the computer. You know, it's not hardware, we can't physically play it, so we need to plug in a MIDI controller to trigger the notes. So that's a software instrument, okay guys. So a software instrument channel is a channel within Logic that allows the software instrument to exist on, essentially. So I'm going to go software instrument. I'm going to click EXS24, which is the sampler instrument. So down here you have all sorts of instruments now. Because we're going to software instrument, it's going to give us a list of all of the Logic software instruments available to us. So we have synthesizers, Alchemy Synth, ES1, ES2 synthesizers. These are all synthesizers here guys. Then you have the sampler, which is Logic sampler. You're going to be able to sort of import various instruments from the library. We discussed this a couple of videos ago, from the library, in which we're about to do. Then you have some drum synths, electric pianos, and various other things you may have installed on your computer. So I'm going to go with the sampler anyway, EXS24. So all synths, all samplers within Logic are software instruments, you know, as they generate noise themselves. So I'm going to go sampler, press create. It's going to give me a new sampler instrument right there. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is put some piano on this. So I'm going to change the name of this to piano, so I know what we're doing. Here we go. If you've forgotten how to change the name, you double click where the name is, change it to piano. There we go. We discussed the library in the first video. So when I put my sampler instrument in, it's going to automatically give me my library open here. If it's closed, press Y to bring it open, the library. Okay, so now I've selected piano. Right, currently in this software instrument there is nothing. If I play notes, we just get a sine wave. You know, sounds okay, but that's not what we want. So I need to change this now to a piano. So over here in my libraries, as you can see with the audio selected, my library is going to change like I discussed in video 1. On the software instrument, it's going to give us a different library, and it's given us options for all different instruments and various other things that we can use. These are all built into Logic. So you have your synthesizers, your orchestral instruments, your basses, drum kits. We want a piano, so I'm just going to go to piano. And I'm going to go Yamaha Grand Piano. Click that, and it should load in. There we go. Yeah, so now we've added the software instrument track, and we've added the software instrument to the track. Okay, now this red R here is going to need to be on. So this basically arms your track, or enables the track to start reading notes from my MIDI keyboard. So I've got a MIDI keyboard right here in front of me. It's plugged in. If you don't have a MIDI keyboard at home, I suggest you press Command and K. And that's going to bring up a sort of on-screen keyboard that is acting as a MIDI keyboard, really. So there we go. So we've got our piano notes. Yeah, so I'm going to get rid of that because I've got my MIDI keyboard plugged in. When your MIDI keyboard is plugged in and your arm button is pressed, so this red R here, record enable, then I can use my MIDI keyboard. So that is essentially how you get a software instrument up and running. So now we need to record in some notes. Should I do recording on a separate video? I think I will. I'll leave it there for now. Okay, so we've got our software instrument track and we've got our software instrument in, okay? I can play notes. Okay, and in the next video we're going to look at recording these MIDI notes into your track, and then you can rearrange them then how you see fit after. Okay, so that's the video on putting a software instrument in, what a software instrument is, and how to basically just get some sound out of your software instrument. Alright guys, so hopefully that helps you, and see you on the next video.